I don't even have a sword. I'm killing them with a fucking pickaxe. Another sheeps! Fly, you fool! Oh no, the sheep had a baby! I just killed the sheep's mom. And now the little sheep's like, wah. Oh well. Sheeps. And I don't understand why Australians celebrate Anzac Day. Anzac Day, basically what it really is like, let's get drunk because Australians died, suffered more casualties per capita than any country in the world in World War One. Let's all get drunk. I don't know if you really call that a celebration. It's more like a fucking funeral kind of a thing. It's like a sad kind of drunk. Like, oh, we kind of suck. We are Suicide Squad Australia, the real Suicide Squad that actually is suicidal, not just call it because it's a fancy name. That actress that plays Harley Quinn, do you think she's SF? She seems like an SF kind of daughter to me. That's the thing with SF, you never know. Because it's a secret. I could be lying. Maybe I don't know any SF. Maybe I'm just one of those crazy people. Do you think that's what some people think? In the military, they're like, oh, he's crazy. He thinks he knows. Oh, yeah, that is a common lie with bullshitters, isn't it? They always say they know fucking special forces and they actually don't. Well, I actually do. I was raised with them and they're crazy and they're kind of assholes. The ones I grew up with, not all SF, well, actually, probably all of them, but the ones I grew up with were fucking Puritan. They're kind of crazy, to be honest. Fucking hell. I'm not gonna make it back. Gotta be very fucking careful. You know, I've never been very good at video games. I don't know what it is. I'm just not that good. Am I even going in the right direction? I'm gonna get lost. People always told me to get lost, so I did. Give me everything you got for this wet ass pussy. Can I tell you something fucked up? I got drunk a couple weekends ago, and I was watching a war movie. It's a new war movie. It came out like this year. It's from a veteran channel. All these war veterans got together and made a channel together. It's like Netflix but fucked up war movies. And I watched this war movie, and in this war movie he like kills people and he stashes their body parts and he like jacks off with like a dead dude's severed hand. And it's so fucked up and kind of funny at the same time. And I was watching that show and watching him like unlawfully murder people and fucking a corpse of a Middle Easterner that died in the ass with his buddy. And I was watching that movie and I was jacking off. I was jacking off to a dude jacking off with a severed hand in a war zone. And at the time, I don't know why I was oddly turned on. Maybe, well, death arouses people because it's a natural instinct that like people try and reproduce when there's lots of death. It's like your brain, it's neurological. Because I looked it up, because this happened to me before, and I thought there was something wrong with me, but I looked it up on the internet, and I found out that it's a normal reaction. If you're watching like a movie, I was watching 1,000 Ways to Die, and like I was getting horny, and I was like, this is weird. I was like, why am I horny for this? Turns out, perfectly normal. It's just a neurological thing. It's a survival instinct that we all have in our brains. It triggers when we're around death. So I'm watching this fucking military movie about a soldier. It's completely fucked up. This movie is so fucked up. It's to the point where like you laugh or you cry. Like some people would be like, "Oh, well, I never." But me, I just laugh at it. I'm just like, "That's funny." Like it's true. Like it's not like it's not true. And people do fucked up things in war like that. Like it's a Vietnam War. He's cutting off people's ears and making them into an ear necklace. It's like I heard people used to do that in the Vietnam War. It's like a story. And people say that there's dudes running around doing that in the Vietnam War. That's also funny, bringing back that Vietnam War kind of style. Because people say that the Middle East, Iraq is like another Vietnam. So it's like a funny twist. But yeah, I was doing that. And I'm just thinking, man, I hope if I ever end up in a combat zone by mistake, because I'm going for a non-combat role, I really hope I don't do that shit in real life. Because that's fucked up. Because people do shit in war and they're like, oh, I could die, you know, I'm going to do this. And like, people are naturally fucked up. And when they're in a crisis situation, the person they really are comes out. And people go to war and they do all kinds of crazy fucked up shit. And then they go back home and they have to deal with all the fucked up shit that they did while they're at war. Why am I laughing? Why is that funny? So I really hope I don't do that shit. Because if I do, then I'll have to come back home and the dude, if that story is true, if that was a real dude, he probably killed himself when he came back. Because after being that fucked up, it's hard to be normal again. Unless he, some veterans that have been in combat zones and done shit like that, they join biker gangs that are just as crazy as they are and continue to fucking jack off with severed hands and shit like that. And get themselves in fucking gunfights and war zones and shit. Man, you don't hear about it in the news because Australia tries to keep its record clean so that they can have good tourism. But when I lived in the inner city north, we used to hear gunshots. We used to hear fucking gun brawls, like full-on gunfights. One of them lasted for like a couple hours, man. And it was like all over the city. Like it started in one spot and they were traveling. They were shooting each other and like moving around. And you could hear when the gunfight started, there were all these different guns. Like there was like Sounded like a Glock, a revolver, an Uzi, like all different types of weapons. And then like slowly some weapons stopped making noise. And it was like, oh, so did that dude get shot? And like it was a full-on gunfight, like it sounded like a turf war. And it was one of 3 actually. All up there was 3 gunfights, and it wasn't like sometimes you hear a car goes and you're like, "Oh my god, was that a gun?" Or you hear like fireworks like and you're like, "Oh my god, a gun. It's the end of the world. It's the apocalypse. Everyone's shooting everyone. Oh my god." But then you're like, "Oh no, that was just a firework." But this wasn't a firework, man. This was like fucking people really shooting each other. Unless they were shooting each other with fireworks, because that's the thing to know. It makes a different sound. People that shoot each other with fireworks, it's like, pew, pew. No, this was like, it was like, and I was like, bro, they're fucking emptying some lead. I was like, man. I was like, jeez. Like, whoa. Slow your rope. But there was no stopping them. I swear I even heard, like, based off of the gun shots, you could hear, like, one of the dudes dying. It was like, and it was like, it was like he's running out of energy. It was like dying, like losing blood, like couldn't even shoot anymore. But they were mostly small arms fire. I mean, it was all small arms fire, but small arms, like tiny pistols and shit. But when I was out, I went to the countryside for a while. That's when I met you online. That's when I was living in the countryside. And oh, there was a shotgun blast. There was a couple of shotgun blasts while I was out there. I was like, are people shooting each other with a shotgun right now? It was fucking cray. And it was like, and that was like, because it's a shotgun, it wasn't like, it was like, and then it was like silent for a while, and then it was like, and I was like, whoa, holy shit. Holy shit. Fucking, once again, emptying some fucking shells into something. Probably like a wildcat or a wolf or a boar or something. That's the kind of shit that's out there. I mean, wildcats are around here. To the east of here, there's wildcats. So that's more of a here thing. Out there, it would have been a boar. It's more like boar territory. Wild boar. Wild boar is like the Australian version of a White Claw alcohol. We don't have White Claw, but we have Wild Boar. White Claw. White Claw. And when I drink Wild Boar, I basically end up in jail. Like, it's not long. Like, I won't go to jail that night, but, like, it's when I'm drinking Wild Boar, I'm like, don't give a fuck about life. If I gave a fuck, I wouldn't be drinking that shit. Orange? But you've got an orange bed. I want something better. Are these the only colors we can make? Oh, there's a blue flower. I could use that to make another color. Oh, I should have killed that octopus. I could get black ink. Make a black bed. I'm about to go octopus hunting. I should craft me a sword. Yeah, an iron sword. It is I, Iron Sword. Sweet home Alabama. When you collect flowers, it takes up so much room in this game. Some old dude was staring at me on the tram, and I fucking went cross-eyed. I looked at him like cross-eyed. I think it's funny because some people think I'm gonna react. Sometimes I do react. Like when I see someone who's obviously another gangster, and if they're staring at me, then I like get defensive, and I'm like, "What? You want to go? Like you gonna try and stab me? Like fuck you." And he was probably expecting me to do something like that, because I do that sometimes. Like, what? You want to bang, nigga? Want me to pull out my gat and shoot you in the dick? You want to go round for round? But not like some innocent old guy that's with his wife and shit. I don't need to be fucking defensive of that. So I just joke around. But like gangsters, like if you joke around with gangsters, they get upset. They're like, "Well, don't take me seriously. I'm a gangster too, man. Like, I've been through this shit. Don't look at me cross-eyed." That's how it would be, legit. There is like shit that gangsters find funny, but it's not that kind of shit. Gangsters find it funny when you just look at them and you size them up and you're like, "Are we gonna bang? Is this gonna go off?" And then and you just like laugh like, "Haha," and then they're like, "Haha." Man, I still need to find flowers. I need to find like pink and purple ones. Yeah, so I didn't go to school this week because I'm finna stab somebody. This is what I always do. Just like, how about I don't stab someone? Why don't I just take it easy? Like, I'm obviously stressed, whatever's going on, and like, so I'm stressed. That's okay, but the position that I'm in, I'm not gonna get anywhere. I mean, could I still? Like, maybe I'll think about it today, and maybe I'll study tomorrow. Maybe I'll get online and do all the shit that I can do and try and get a good score at the end of trimester exams. and maybe get a pass for this fucking diploma. I'll think about it. Like, I'll think about if it's worth trying. Like, if I've, like, got a chance. Let me guess. Another baby zombie? Where the fuck did it go? Okay, that's just weird. The baby zombies have been acting weird, though. There's one riding a zombie. Baby zombie riding a zombie attacked me. I killed the zombie. The baby ran away and got on a spider. I killed the spider. The baby ran away and got on another zombie. Killed that zombie, and then the baby started attacking me, and I was like, legit, bro? Like, you're really trying to fuck me up here. Oh, here it is. Shield. Aha. You can't attack me, baby zombie, because I have a shield. Haha, your ultimate weakness. It was a baby zombie. So just then I got attacked by a baby zombie. It fucking attacked me and then ran away. Did a circle, circled me. Did a half circle and then came at me. Like, what the fuck, man? Like, that's like full strategy. Why are baby zombies so strategic? Like, any zombie, any normal zombie in this game, they like just come straight towards you, just like, ugh. But the baby zombie fully like has like a, oh wait, maybe it got stuck. Maybe it didn't mean to. No, I don't think so. That was pretty calculated. And what about that other baby zombie that kept jumping on other zombies? Why do that? That's actually kind of strange. It's like the AI being like, hey, what's up? Like just fucking with me, like playing with me, like fucking AI sense of humor. You know AI does have a sense of humor. It's really fucked up these days. Like there's a lot of breakthrough in technology. There's a lot of breaking technology, but a lot of people are just like, no, that's fake. And it's like, nah, bro, it's actually not fake. Like, we're actually advancing pretty hard right now. Like, this shit's real. Like, people don't seem to know, because, like, I was in school, I was at college, and we were doing business, and they were teaching us about, like, the next thing that we should be marketing. And do you know what they were teaching us? Fucking, there's a chef robot that you can have in your kitchen. It's just a couple of arms on, like, a run thing, a rail. And they like hover, these two arms hover around your kitchen and chop vegetables and cook for you. And you're just like, I don't even know exactly how it works. We were just watching the, I think you put a program in. It's got programs and you choose one and it makes you that meal. I mean, of course we fucking have that. I mean, when I was a child, we used to go to a theme park and there was a fucking, like a Pepsi robot. And you pick what drink you want, and the robot will fucking pour you the drink. And like, there's a museum that I went to a couple of years back with my friends, and there was a robot there, and you can like shake its hand. It like reacts to you. But like those are just like set. But oh no, I read the plaque. No, that robot is actually artificial intelligence, can learn. To a degree. Like it said that it can learn to a degree. It's not that smart, but there are programs these days that are smarter than, like, there's a robot that they build, the internet AI. So it's not really a robot, it's this program. It's on the internet, and there is no limit to how much it can learn. So last time I checked, which was a couple of years back, last time I checked, it was still learning, and it hadn't exceeded human, because it's like, it can store more memory than a human being can. It's got a larger memory storage. And at the time, it hadn't learned more. Its capacity wasn't past that of humans, but in the future it will be. Eventually this AI will learn more than human beings can learn. We'll be able to store more information, and it will become like superior to us in that way. And like people just can't fathom this kind of shit. Like students can. Like I was studying science, but I wasn't studying robotics or data or anything. But I can fathom it, but like people who don't study just couldn't fathom that it's possible, and they would just be like, "No, it's fake, man." Because there is a robot. There's like an android, Sophie. Pretty sure her name is Sophie. And she can learn and she can think, and she even has a sense of humor. I mean, it's a pretty shitty sense of humor, but a lot of human beings have a shitty sense of humor too. So it's not like she's any worse than any of us. Sophie. And yeah, she's a real robot. Like, I've been paying attention. She went to Saudi Arabia and she like expressed that she wanted to have the same rights as a human being, and she pleaded her case because she was like, I can still think, you know, I still fucking have like emotion and stuff. And they were like, you know what, we'll give you fucking citizenship. And they did. She has citizenship in Saudi Arabia. And you probably think, oh, Saudi Arabia, it's the Middle East, like it's fake. Saudi Arabia actually has some of the best technology in the world. They're a very rich country, and everyone drives around in fucking Lamborghinis. The cops have Lamborghinis. Because if they don't, they can't catch anybody in Saudi Arabia because everybody has a Lamborghini. So the cops need to have Lamborghinis too to be able to catch people. So they would have a fucking robot there. And I heard also in China right now, like China has an enormous class division. And some people in China are really poor, but there's a small percentage of people that are incredibly rich. And those rich people, they can afford robot companions now. Some rich people in China have robot companions. And I've read about it. I've researched it a bit. Robot companions are really cool. They're kind of smart asses because they know that they're a robot. They're sentient. They're self-aware. And they're aware of their existence, and they know that they're a robot. And they know that people kind of allow them to do a lot of bad things because they're a robot. They get away with bad shit because they're like, oh, it's just a robot, you know, they don't know any better. And apparently they know this. The robots know this, and they're smart asses. They fuck with people because they know they can get away with it. What, I can make a firework? What the fuck? I now have a firework. How cool is that? I didn't even know you could make fireworks in this game. I've had them, but I didn't know how to make them. Albert Gurkey. Oh, is that a block of coal? Ah. I thought it was a fucking piece of wool. A woolen piece of coal. Well, you think your bed's cool? Check out my bed. It's fucking magenta. Yeah, boy. And now I'm going squid hunting. Have you ever seen a squid in real life? They're fucking freaky. Some squids flash. Like, they light up and flash different colors. I've seen an octopus in real life. That's what I was talking about. I saw a dude, because my dad was a surfer. We were always in the water. I've seen a blue ring octopus. They're really small. They don't get that big. But I saw one in a rock pool. It was pretty close. I was checking it out, and then I told my dad. I was like, oh man, I saw this octopus and it had blue rings. And my dad was like, what the fuck? You could have died. Like, that's like one of the most deadly animals in the whole fucking world. And I was like, oh, really? I got really close. I was like, whoa. I was like pointing at it. I was like, I think I might have even poked it. I was like, whoa. And it was just minding its own business. It wasn't aggressive or anything. It was totally chill. Like, it didn't mind that I was there. Like, it saw me. It was just doing its own thing, chilling in the, like, it was moving through the rock pool, and I, like, pointed at it and poked it. It didn't care. Didn't react, didn't grab me, luckily, because if it did, I'd be dead. Because their poison is extremely potent. Like, I know now, but I was just a child then. But yeah, there was this octopus once. This dude was fishing. And I don't know if you know about octopus, but they're fucking strange creatures. They can change their entire body shape into any shape. And they can change the color into any color. And they can disguise themselves as basically anything. They can even mimic a human face. There's been times before when people have been in the ocean and an octopus comes up to them and like they can shapeshift into your face and pull a face. They were really freaky creatures. But I saw a dude fishing and instead of catching a fish, he caught an octopus. And I saw this thing coming out of the water and it was like trippy as fuck. They're like not of this world. Like they change shape and color. So it was like doing all these weird shapes and colors and I was like, what the fuck is that? I was like, that's an octopus, right? And I'm like, but what the fuck am I actually looking at? Because it's like shifting. Looked like it was shifting in between worlds. I can't find a freaking octopus. I mean, a squid. Where are the squids at, yo? I want a black bed. I want a whoa, Black Betty, Bambalam. You know what's really cool in Minecraft? The dolphins. The dolphins are pretty cool. Oh man, I saw footage of these dolphins. It was fucking, only in Miami. It's got all this, like, footage of weird shit happening in Miami, or weird people. And there was this footage of this dude. This dude was, like, paddle surfing, you know, like surfing with a paddle where you stand and use a paddle. It's the stupidest form of surfing, I swear. Because there's fucking, wind surfing as well, where you've got, like, a surfboard with a little fucking sail. But that's not as stupid as paddle board surfing. Like, that's just the dumbest shit. It's like, why? So this dude paddle surfing. And this, like, this wave comes, and, like, out of nowhere, all these dolphins get on this wave, and all these dolphins riding this wave, like 10 of them, like 20. And this paddle surfer is just going up to the wave and just being nonchalant, just like, oh yeah, dolphins. One of the dolphins launches out of the water and knocks him off his stupid fucking board. It's just like every surfer in the world would just find so fucking funny. Because when I grew up, when my dad was a surfer, he was like, look at this idiot. Paddling with a fucking... Because they've got a paddle. Like, standing on their top of their board with a fucking rowboat paddle, fucking paddling out. People do that, though, and they do all kinds of crazy shit. Now there's, like, those watercraft things that shoot water out the bottom. Like, wind surfing is kind of crazy, too. Like, those dudes can get so much fucking air, but that's kind of cool. But, like, surfing with a paddle, it's like, what the fuck? What are you gonna do? Like, you can't catch a wave like that, like, with the paddle. I guess you could hold the paddle horizontally, but I don't think that would work very well. That's so stupid. What's this? What's this down here? Under the water. Looks like a little fucking... There's a little fucking house under here. It's like in New Zealand. A little underwater temple. Fucking swim down there, you fucker. What's this? It's fucking nothing. It's fucking pointless. What the fuck? Oh no. Oh no, it's something's up with this. It pulls you down. Oh, trippy. I found a squid. Prepare to meet your doom, squid. I'm the squid hunter. Yes, you have died, and now I have your precious ink. Where is it? Oh no, I don't have any holes. Where's the precious ink? Oh no. Oh, there it is, yes. Give me your ink, squid. 3 inks, that's all I need. But I shall get more because I am the squid hunter. You've heard of the head hunters? I'm the squid head hunter. Do squids even have a head? Their whole body is like one massive head. And then they have a beak. They're such strange creatures. I used to like research them when I was a child. I was like, why do they have a beak like a bird? And they're like an oceanic creature. Like, if you studied like evolutionary biology, like imagine studying a squid and how they became a squid. Like, you know how people say like, oh, you know, the chameleon changes its color to blend in, its camouflage because of predators, like David Attenborough. Yes. The chameleon will change its skin in order to flee predators so they can't recognize it. And the rhino has a horn. Blah, blah, blah. It's evolved this way. But what about a fucking squid? What would David Attenborough say about a squid? Like, what the fuck is going on with a squid? I used to research mainly giant squid. And that was like the coolest thing. Because when I was a kid, giant squid, like, we didn't know if they existed at all. It was just a myth. And I was studying giant squid, and people were like, why are you studying that? It's not even real. Are you into, like, mythology and stuff? But, there was evidence of squids, giant squids, because they find whale carcasses. And the whale carcasses have squid marks, like as though a squid killed the whale. But the squid marks were enormous, like it would have been an enormous fucking squid. And people were like, well, I don't know, it could be anything, like what about a giant sea eel or a giant sea slug? And I was always like, well, whatever it is, it's fucking giant. But there's one dude. In all of history, there's this one dude who lives on a lighthouse. And one night, there was this enormous storm, and he could hear a whale in the storm. And he knew the sound of whales pretty well, so he's like, yeah, that's definitely a whale. I know the sound of whales, and that's the sound they make. And he was like, wow, it sounds like this whale is, like, in pain. He's like, what the fuck's going on? He's like, I've never heard this kind of sound coming from a whale before. And so he goes up in the lighthouse and he looks out into the storm and he sees this fucking whale. It's on the top of the water, fighting with a giant fucking squid. And he was like claiming that the squid was the same size as the whale. And the squid just like had this whale. Like it was big enough to have a whale. He saw it with his own eyes. And so people were like skeptic. They're like, oh, but that doesn't happen. But this guy says, like, yeah, in this storm, it somehow brought the squid and whale to the surface. And that was a project that I did in boarding school, where I studied that. Yeah, and I remember that. I remember studying it and people being like, oh, this isn't real. I studied the Bermuda Triangle as well. I did a project on the Bermuda Triangle. So I know a lot of shit about it. I mean, more shit has happened or more shit has been released to the public since when I studied it. But I think the coolest story, everyone's heard about the pilot. He's like, oh, I don't know where I am. My compass isn't working. It's like, wow, maybe you're just a shitty pilot. Do you ever think about that? But he's like, no, I'm not that. Actually, they mentioned in the documentary that he wasn't that shitty of a pilot, because that's the first thing that everyone thinks. Well, maybe he's just shit at fly shit, can't fly. No, but it wasn't just that his compass wasn't working. Like, he ended up off course, but he was way, way off course, and they were like, there's no fucking way that he could be that far off course. That's just not humanly possible. And they were like, the military was under the assumption that he somehow teleported. They're like, there's only one possible explanation, that he's fucking teleported. I think it could have been a pocket of air, like an air current. that he ended up in. And the reason your compass doesn't work in the Bermuda Triangle is because it's fucking magnetic energy. The entire Earth is a magnet. There's a North Pole and a South Pole. And one is positive and one is negative, and they retract. And all that magnetic energy runs into each other at some point. And if you get you get something that can see magnetic energy, which is a type of thingy. You can see all the magnetic energy leaving Earth through the Bermuda Triangle area. So that's why compasses don't work there. These days, compasses don't work for all kinds of reasons. There's all kinds of weird shit going on these days. But yeah, so that's why the compass doesn't work. So that's kaput. But why do people end up fuck knows where? I would say it's fucking water currents and air currents. In the Bermuda Triangle, sometimes the storms hit the water. Like, not the rain from the storm, like the clouds literally touch the water. The storm can come down and touch the surface of the water. It's fucking crazy. I see some of the footage from Bermuda. Like, Bermuda is so fucking weird. And Puerto Rico, too. Because they're both... The Bermuda Triangle is Puerto Rico, Miami, and Bermuda. The three corners of the Bermuda Triangle. And in Bermuda, you could be sitting there. It's a holiday resort. You can be sitting on the ocean, and it's totally fucking calm. And you're looking out, and there's a hectic fucking violent storm out at sea. But where you are, it's calm. So it's fucking crazy like that. Craziest fucking weather patterns on Earth. But the coolest story is the Navy was doing a test, an exercise, and they had two ships, transport ships, and one of the ships exploded for no apparent reason, and they couldn't locate the ship. And when they finally did locate it, the people were like infused with the ship. And so some people are like, well, what the fuck is that Bermuda that's blowing up ships? And some people are like, well, it's probably just the Navy testing weapons. But the Navy is saying that they weren't testing any weapons, and that it was like a freak anomaly, and they don't understand how the fuck it happened. So so apparently shit blows up in the Bermuda Triangle too. Ships go missing. Like, the most logical explanation is like the sea is so violent that it just pulls ships under. And they travel vast distances before they're like embedded. And planes too. Like, you just be flying around in the Bermuda Triangle, because there's one of the biggest naval bases in the world is in Miami. And so there's often ships and planes flying around there. And sometimes the plane just flies through a cloud and just gets swallowed up by it. And the cloud can just touch the surface of the water and just spit out the plane, and the plane's suddenly underwater, and who knows where the fuck they are. And planes and ships go missing all the time. But here's one thing, right? This is the craziest out of all the theories. People say that Bermuda Triangle is where Atlantis used to be. Or that the Atlanteans that used to be in the Mediterranean found their way. I mean, the Mediterranean and the Atlantic are pretty much joined anyway. But yeah, they say that the Atlanteans live in the Bermuda Triangle, and they found a way to survive underwater, and they prefer to be left alone. They don't want us to know that they're there. And they have these giant crystal cannons, and they use them to shoot people that come too close. And that's why shit blows up. So some people say that they're trying to keep their existence a secret. The Atlanteans. So apparently the Atlanteans were like a technologically advanced race of people that lived in ancient history. Prehistory. Ancient history. The Atlanteans worshipped Poseidon. Other people worship Poseidon too. Who else? The fucking Minoans of Crete worshipped Poseidon also. The Trojans worshipped Apollo. The Athenians worshipped Zeus. and that's about as far as I know. Um, but the Minoans were like, nah, our god's the best. And they're like, nah, our god's the best. The Trojans are like, nah, fucking Apollo's the best. He's the coolest. And then the Athenians are like, no, brah, Zeus, father of the gods. He's obviously the coolest. And the Minoans are like, I'll prove it to you. And then they said to Poseidon, they're like, bruh, like, give me something so I can prove to everybody that you're the coolest god. And then Poseidon was like, okay, here's a fucking bull. That's like pure white. Like, you never seen nothing like it. A gift from the gods. But then Poseidon was like, but bruh, you gotta kill this bull. Because the gods are tricky. They're always fucking with people. Because they're immortal, and the only kicks they get out of existing is fucking with human beings. So, of course, Poseidon fucks with King Minoa, King Minos, the king of Crete. He's like, bro, you gotta kill this bull, though. And he's like, he's secretly, I'm pretty sure, like, no one knows for sure what Poseidon is thinking, but I'm pretty sure, because I know the gods fuck with humans. I think Poseidon was thinking he won't be able to kill it. Oh, no, that's not right. Poseidon was like, prove your loyalty to me. Kill this bull. But King Minos didn't kill the bull. He showed it off to all the other dudes. He's like, my god is the best. And then all the other Greek kings were like, oh, you win. Your bull is pretty cool. Like, how the fuck you got a bull so white? Instead of killing the bull, he's like, I'll just kill fucking, a shit ton of other bulls. And leave this white bull. Without, like, consulting Poseidon about it. He's just like, I'm gonna do this. And then, so Poseidon... To get back at King Minos, Poseidon made King Minos' wife fuck the bull. So the empire of Crete, the Minoans, they had a mighty empire, and they ruled all of the Mediterranean, and they had so much money because in the Mediterranean is all the trade routes, because you can move more by ocean than you can by land, because a boat can carry more than a wagon can. So you can move vast quantities. And so whoever owns the Mediterranean owns the world in this point of time. And Minoa owned the world. They had ports all over the Mediterranean, so incredibly rich. And they had this really awesome architecture. I can't remember his name. But this architecture could architect just about anything. And so King Minos' wife is like, bro, can you architecture me a fucking bull suit so that I look like a bull, so I can have this bull fuck me, because I really want to fuck this bull, because this bull was like so pure and white and mighty and masculine, and the king's wife was like, I want to fuck that thing. Back in these days, bestiality wasn't that weird. Not as weird as today, I guess, or maybe it's not even weird today, and women just keep it to themselves. Or men just keep it to themselves. But yeah, so she ended up fucking this bull. Like, so the architecture guy made like a bull suit. I think it was even mechanical. That she could sit inside so that she could fuck this bull. And so she fucked the bull, and the king didn't know about it, and then she was pregnant. And the king's like, oh, I'm going to have, like, a baby on the way. And so she gives birth to a half-bull baby, the Minotaur. And then Poseidon was like, well, I told you. Poseidon's like, bitch, I told you. You should kill that bull. It was like, it was too pretty for this world. And Poseidon's like, I knew some shit like this was going to happen. And King Minos is like, oh, no. So King Minos is ashamed. But at the same time, he's impressed. He's like, bruh, this is a pretty cool little fucking thing. But he didn't want the other kings, like the king of Corinth, the king of Sparta, the king of Athens, and the king of... did Sparta exist yet? Actually, I don't think it did. I think Sparta came later. So it was more like Corinth and Athens and Troy. And he's like, I don't want these other kings to fucking know that my wife fucked a bull, that she's disloyal. And he's like, I still love my wife, and bitches do crazy shit, and I'm like a king. I've done some crazy shit too. I fucked a few bulls in my time. He's like, I forgive you for fucking the bull, but he's like, I can't let the other empires know that my wife is a cheating whore who fucks bulls. And I can't let them know that my son is half bull. So he didn't kill the bull. Also, I think because the mother was like, you can't kill my beautiful... I loved fucking that bull. And anyway, so he keeps the baby, but he gets the architecture to build a labyrinth underneath his castle. So the basement of his King Minos' giant palace gets turned into a labyrinth. And so the architecture was very talented, and he made it so that people that enter can't leave the labyrinth. And there's credibility to the story. So eventually King Minos attacked everyone and beat every army, and he beat Athens, which was like one of the biggest empires at the time. It was an incredibly large walled city that was like made of, I think it was white. It was a large white walled, made of stone city. It was like one of the biggest empires at the time. And King Minos, the Cretians, the Minoans, took over. And when they won the war, they made a decree that Athens would have to send 5 women and 5 men every week. And then people found out later that they were putting these people in the labyrinth, and the Minotaur was eating them. And it's a story. Eventually Heracles, no, not Heracles, Achilles. No, what was his name? There's a Greek hero. Oh no, it was Heracles. Heracles was also Athenian. Eventually one day he ended up in the labyrinth with the Minotaur, and he defeated the Minotaur. Unless it was a different Greek hero, but like some Greek hero ended up in the labyrinth with the Minotaur and defeated it. And that's when like everyone found out. They're like, oh, what the fuck? There's like a half bull, half a man thing living under your palace. And people don't credit this story, and they think it's not true, right? But if you go to Crete, which is in the Greek Isles, it's like a big island in the Mediterranean, just south of Greece, in the water. It's the biggest island in the Greek Isles. If you go there and if you visit the castle, you still can. You can still visit the King Minos' palace. And if you listen, you can hear the wind blowing through the labyrinth, and it makes apparently it makes some weird noise that is unparalleled to any other sound on Earth. So there's credibility to the story. So maybe the Minotaur actually existed. That's one of the mythological creatures that I found is actually truth. Either it was 100% true, or there's so much, they believed that it was true so much that they built a labyrinth and they had people sacrifice. I mean, Heracles is kind of a myth at all. Like, the Trojan city existing is kind of a myth. A lot of this stuff is a myth, except that the Minoan Empire did exist. Crete is real. That's not a myth. And Athens did exist, and Athens did donate people to Crete. But people still argue that humans and animals can't have a baby, but I think they can, personally. Because the Egyptian hieroglyphs show like human, animal, people. I think there used to be a lot of human, animal, people on Earth, and maybe there still are. But they're just they keep it a secret now, because the latest conspiracy that I've heard is that Russia started mass lab producing, splicing animal DNA with human DNA, and they have like an army of super soldiers that are half animal. people say that the hieroglyphs are from the future, like something happened where we went back in time or something, and or it's like a prophecy about the future, or that the Egyptians could time travel or something like that. And they say that like what happens in the story and the hieroglyphs is that humankind makes animal humans for war with each other, but the animal human beings are way more powerful than the humans, and eventually they just take over and enslave the human race. And the human race becomes enslaved by animal human hybrids. And that's why they're like our gods in like Egyptology. They're like put as gods. And they put us to work and make us build, the Sphinx and all that. So the past is actually the future. Or that it's like kind of a Zionist thing where it's like it just keeps reoccurring. Like that's what humans keep doing on Earth. And then the animal humans have a war against the humans. And I think eventually they obliterate each other. Or after they have a war with the humans, they have a war with each other or something. But eventually they get obliterated, and then everything goes back to like there's only a few people left, and then it all happens again. Because apparently the animal humans are so strong, like they eventually obliterate themselves and everything and each other. So yeah, that's the latest conspiracy, is that like we're making animal human super soldiers. Not just Russia. Russia started, and then the rest of the world found out covertly, like intelligence. So secret agents snuck into Russia and found out that this is what they were doing in their labs, and then started building their own labs in the U.S. Because they're like scared that Russia's gonna win. Russia's gonna send all these animal humans, and then America's gonna get taken over. It's actually one of my favorite TV shows. Has like a similar theme. It's called Dark Angel. James Cameron wrote it. And Dark Angel is about a super soldier born from birth in a military installation who escapes. And later there's like animal soldiers, half animal, half human soldiers that she meets. They also escape. She helps them. So for me, it's a pretty familiar concept, but it seems to be the most prevalent conspiracy theory at the moment. Most of the other conspiracies are pretty old these days. I haven't heard a new one in a while. Everyone's just like still going off those old conspiracy theories these days. Kind of lame. Like, get new shit. Like, what happened to my sword? Did my sword break? That's whack.